The full moon bled red over Mbale Hills the night Okira's shadow disappeared. Villagers screamed. Drums stopped. Chickens scattered into the thick bushes as a strange silence fell across the sacred land. Old Mama Naru, the blind seer, trembled beside the fire. She has been claimed, she whispered. The moon has chosen its bride. Okira stood frozen in the center of the hill, her feet cold on the wet grass, her heart beating louder than the night crickets. She had only gone out to fetch water. Now her shadow was gone, swallowed by the moonlight. Women began to cry. Men dropped to their knees. It is her, the village elder muttered. The spirit of Omandi has chosen her. For generations, the people of Mbale had whispered about Omandi, the moon spirit who once protected their land. Long ago, the spirit had made a vow. Every 50 years, he would choose a bride to return balance to the earth. The chosen girl was to marry him under the sacred tree by the river. After the ritual, rains would return. Crops would grow. Children would be healed. But no one ever saw the bride again. Okira's mother fainted. Take her home, someone said. But Okira didn't move. The moonlight pulled her like a string. In her ears, she heard a voice, not from the crowd, not from the hills. A deep voice. Soft. You belong to me now, moon bride. 3 days later, the village held a cleansing ritual. Drums echoed again, people danced, but Okira felt empty. She was marked. The ceremony would be in 2 weeks. And then he arrived. A tall, fair-skinned man in hiking boots and a backpack walked into the village like he had stepped out of a dream. His black hair was pushed back, and he wore a silver necklace shaped like a crescent moon. I'm looking from Mbale Hills, he said in slow English. I'm here to study the moonstones. Everyone stared. Who is he? Whispered a child. He introduced himself in a soft accent. My name is Jun-Seo. From South Korea. Okira's heart skipped. When their eyes met, the wind shifted. Her birthmark, a silver crescent on her wrist, began to glow faintly. That night, she dreamed of him. And in the dream, Omandi's voice growled. He is not meant for this land, but he carries your death with him. In the coming days, Jun-Seo asked questions about the land, the rituals, and the spirit of Omandi. He was drawn to Okira but didn't understand why. He told her his grandmother once lived in Africa, though no one believed her tales of a spirit marriage and a forbidden love under a bleeding moon. Maybe she was right, Jun-Seo laughed. But Okira couldn't laugh. Not when the moonstone at the sacred tree started glowing every time Jun-Seo came near. Not when Omandi's spirit began appearing in her dreams, asking, Will you betray me for a man of dust? On the 7th night, Jun-Seo followed Okira to the sacred tree. He was curious, too curious. And when he placed his hand on the ancient stone, the wind stopped. Birds froze. The trees howled. Okira screamed. Jun-Seo's eyes rolled back. He collapsed. And in a voice that wasn't his, he said, I was here before. You loved me once. You killed me. The villagers found him shaking in the grass. When he woke up, he had no memory of what he said. But Okira knew. The past was coming back. And this Korean stranger wasn't just a visitor. He was the key to breaking the moon's curse, or dying under it. The morning after Jun-Seo collapsed at the sacred tree, the entire village whispered about him. Some called him cursed. Others said he was sent by the gods. One thing was clear. He was no ordinary man. Okira sat by the stream, dipping her fingers into the cool water. Her mind was heavy. The words Jun-Seo had spoken while possessed kept echoing in her head. I was here before. You loved me once. You killed me. What did it mean? Could he be a reincarnation? Was the moon playing tricks? She looked at her reflection. Her eyes, once brown, now shimmered faintly silver under sunlight. The mark on her wrist pulsed like it had a heartbeat. She didn't hear Jun-Seo approach until he sat beside her. I scared everyone last night, he said softly. I'm sorry. She glanced at him. You don't remember what you said? He shook his head. I remember touching the stone, then waking up in your arms. Her heart skipped. Jun-Seo looked up at the sky. I came here for research, but now, I feel like this place called me. I dream of drums, a woman in a white veil, a tree that bleeds, and always, he hesitated. You, Okira stood quickly. You should go back to your people. This land isn't safe for strangers. But Jun-Seo stood too. I'm not leaving. Not until I understand why my grandmother warned me never to come to this land. Yet hid this moon pendant in her closet. He pulled it out. The moment the silver crescent pendant touched the air, the water in the stream began to ripple violently. Birds flew from the trees. A sudden wind knocked Okira back, and the pendant glowed. "You dare bring that here?" The voice boomed from the water. Jun-Seo stepped back in shock. What was that?" Okira's lips trembled. "Omandi." From the water a face formed. Glowing silver eyes, ancient, furious. Omandi, the moon spirit. He had never shown himself during the day before. "Leave the girl, stranger," Omandi's voice echoed. "She belongs to the moon. She is mine." Jun-Seo clenched his fists. "She doesn't belong to anyone." Okira gasped. The spirit snarled. "You loved her once. You betrayed me once. I cursed your bloodline for eternity." Jun-Seo fell to his knees, clutching his chest. Blood trickled from his nose. Okira ran to him. "Stop. You're killing him." Omandi's face darkened. "Then choose, Okira. The spirit world or this foreign man. Sacrifice your heart for your people, or doom them to drought, disease, and death." With that, the spirit vanished into the water, leaving silence behind. That night, Okira lay on her sleeping mat, staring at the moon through the crack in the roof. Her tears were silent. Jun-Seo rested in the next hut, weak but alive. A healer had rubbed herbs on his chest. He had whispered her name before sleeping. Not Okira, but a strange name. Nylaru. She didn't know what it meant, but old Mama Nyara did. "The moon always brings back what it cannot bury," the blind seer said. Jun-Seo's blood carries an old love, a betrayal, and a second chance. Okira swallowed. "Was I Nylaru?" The old woman nodded slowly. "In your past life you were a moon priestess. You fell in love with a warrior from the east, Jun-Seo's ancestor. You ran from the ritual and broke your vow. Omandi killed him and cursed you both to be reborn over and over, never to be free." Okira felt dizzy. "But now," Mama Nyara whispered, "if you choose Jun-Seo again, the curse will awaken fully." The next morning, Okira sat by the river waiting. Jun-Seo arrived, his face pale but calm. "I had a dream," he said. "You wore white. You ran toward me, but a shadow stabbed me through the heart. You screamed. You said, 'Forgive me, my love.'" She looked away, tears forming. "It wasn't a dream," she said. "It was a memory." He touched her hand. "I don't care about curses. I care about you. Let's run. Let's leave this place." But the wind howled. The trees shook, and a voice whispered in both their ears, "If you leave, you will die together." The moon bled that night. It wasn't white. It wasn't silver. It was red, deep angry red. And the whole village knew something ancient had been broken. The elders stood in a circle, faces painted with ash. Women hummed old songs with no rhythm. Children cried in their sleep. Everyone avoided Okira's hut. Even the goats refused to walk past it. Inside, Okira sat beside Jun-Seo, whose skin was ice cold. He had collapsed again, and this time, his eyes were glowing faintly. "He's shifting," Mama Nyara had warned. "The curse is waking up inside him. You've stirred the past too deeply." But Okira didn't care. She wiped his forehead gently. "Don't leave me," she whispered. Suddenly, Jun-Seo's lips moved. His voice, not his own, escaped. "You swore you would never love him again." Okira froze. "Who are you?" she whispered. "You knew the price. Yet you kissed him by the river. You held him. You said you would run. Then you looked back. You broke the sacred rule." He opened his eyes, black as night. "Now you will pay." Lightning flashed across the sky. A loud knock pounded her door. "Okira, come out. You've cursed our land." It was the chief's voice. The entire village was gathered. Torches burned. People shouted, "Why is the moon bleeding? Why are the animals dying? Why did you bring a stranger here?" Okira stood before them, shielding Jun-Seo's body. Her hair was wild. Her eyes burned with defiance. "He is not a stranger. He's my fate." The crowd gasped. Chief Baraka pointed at her. "Then you've chosen your side. You must leave this land by sunrise, or we'll burn you both." Mama Nyara limped forward. No, she cried. You fools. If she leaves before the moon sets, the curse will spill into the forest, the rivers, the children. You must let it finish. Baraka growled. Then she must finish it. Perform the ritual. Return to the moon. Give up the love. Okira looked at the chief, then at Jun-Seo lying weak inside the hut. Return to the moon? That meant death. Her soul would become light again. No more touch. No more love. No more warmth. Later that night, Okira stood at the sacred grove wearing a white veil. Drums echoed in the distance. The spirits were awake. The blood moon watched silently. Jun-Seo limped to the grove, dragging his feet, face pale. But his eyes were fully his own again. Okira, he whispered. Don't do this. She turned to him. I must. If I don't, you'll die. The village will fall. He reached for her hand. Then let's fall together. She touched his face. If I sacrifice myself, you will live. You will remember me. He cried. But I won't have you. I'd rather be a memory you treasure than a curse that kills you. A tear rolled down her cheek. And then without warning she kissed him. One final, deep kiss under the blood moon. It was sweet. Sad. Soft. The wind stopped. The trees quieted. And then with one step forward she walked into the light. The spirits opened a portal above the grove. The sky split like cracked glass. Her body lifted. Her eyes turned silver. Her hands glowed. I love you, she whispered. And just like that, she was gone. Jun-Seo lay flat on the ground, crying like a child. The villagers, now calm, began to sing again. The sky cleared. The moon turned white. Mama Nyaru whispered she did it. She ended the curse. But Jun-Seo, he never smiled again. Until one day, months later, he opened his eyes to find a little girl standing by the same river. She had silver eyes. A crescent mark on her wrist. And she was humming the same melody Okira used to hum while cooking. Are you lost? He asked. The girl smiled. No, Appa. I came back. The girl didn't blink. She stood barefoot by the riverbank, humming softly, her silver eyes staring into Jun-Seo's soul. Appa. I came back. His heart stopped. Jun-Seo dropped to his knees, his mouth trembling. What did you say? The girl tilted her head. You called me Moonlight, remember? Tears pooled in his eyes. That was what he used to call Okira during their secret evenings. No one else ever heard it. Moonlight, he whispered. Is it you? The little girl only smiled. Behind her, the wind whispered through the tall grass. A flock of white birds suddenly flew across the sky. The air smelled like rain and rosemary, Okira's favorite scent. Back in the village, Mama Nyara stared into her water bowl, trembling. The reflection was not her own, it was Okira's silver eyes. She broke the law, Mama Nyara muttered. She came back, through blood. The spirits would not stay silent for long. Bringing a soul back without a proper offering? That could split the spirit world open. But still, Okira was here, in the body of a child. Flesh and breath. Not ghost. Not dream. Jun-Seo knew the village would panic if they saw the girl. So he built a small hut by the riverbank. He brought her fruits, cooked rice, and told her stories every evening. She never aged. She never ate much. And when she spoke, her voice echoed twice. They'll come for me soon, she said one day. You must teach me to be human before they take me back. Jun-Seo's heart shattered. How can I teach you to be human when you were always something more? She smiled, touching his cheek. You already did, when you loved me. Whisper spread. The river fish had returned. The crops grew faster. Sick babies recovered overnight. Someone said they saw Jun-Seo talking to a child by the water, but the child had no shadow. Chief Baraka summoned Mama Nuru. What's going on? He asked, sweating. The old woman only sighed. The girl is not a girl. She's a doorway. A doorway to what? To the truth we tried to bury. Cloud with lightning one night. Thunder rumbled without rain. The child sat by Jun-Seo's side, drawing shapes in the soil. Do you remember the kiss? She asked softly. He nodded. I still feel it, she whispered. Even now, inside this small body. Suddenly, her silver eyes turned white. Her body stiffened. Her hands began to glow. They're coming, she whispered. The spirits. To take me back. He held her close, shaking. No. Please. I just got you back. But it was too late. The wind screamed. Trees bent backwards. The river turned red for a moment, then black. And then silence. The girl fainted. In her sleep, she spoke in an ancient tongue. Mama Nyara heard the echo from her hut. Her bones ached. She stood up slowly and whispered, "The spirits are testing her." She grabbed her staff and began walking toward the river. The sky turned still. No wind. No crickets. Only the soft breath of the girl lying on Jun-Seo's lap, glowing faintly. Her skin was pale. Her silver eyes fluttered. "They're close," she whispered. "I can feel the spirits." Jun-Seo held her tighter. "No, I won't lose you again." Suddenly, the river behind them rippled, glowing blue. Out stepped a woman draped in white, Okira's spirit form. She looked just like before, but made of moonlight. "Jun-Seo," she said gently, "you were never meant to keep me. Just love me." Tears ran down his cheeks. "You came back. Through her." She nodded. "But I broke the law. The gods are angry. They demand balance." The child sat up, eyes glowing. "Then let them take me." Jun-Seo screamed a no. But the spirits had already arrived. Wind roared. Trees bent. The sky split open. A beam of white light fell onto the child. "One soul must go," Okira said softly. "Hers or mine?" Jun-Seo stepped into the light. "Then take me." The spirits paused. Okira shook her head. "That's not how love works. You're meant to live and remember, not die with me." Jun-Seo fell to his knees. The little girl, Okira's vessel, stood up. "Let me say goodbye." She walked to him, hugged him tightly, and whispered, "Thank you for teaching me to love." And then she stepped back into the light. In a flash, her body rose, glowed, and vanished into the night sky. Silence. The river calmed. The moon turned white. The earth sighed. Jun-Seo sat by the river alone. He didn't cry anymore. He just waited. One day, a small dove landed beside him. It had a silver feather tied to its leg. He opened the tiny note attached. "I will always find you. In every life. In every form. Okira." He smiled softly. The pain didn't leave, but neither did the love. This story teaches that love is not possession. Even if someone returns in a new form, holding on too tightly can hurt both souls. Grief and healing are spiritual journeys. Honoring someone's memory doesn't mean refusing to move forward. Sacrifice is sacred. Sometimes protecting someone means letting them go, even when it breaks you. Spiritual laws exist beyond human emotion. We must respect the balance between the living and the spirit world. And finally, love never truly dies. It just changes form, living in memories, feathers, rivers, and songs.